Right, buddy, this is the latest news talking Sancho to Fenerbahce. We'll also be talking about shock links again to Nkunku. I'll talk about the Garnacho stuff as well with the whole shirt towards the end, but I'm going to start off by talking about the Nkunku links to Manchester United, as well as some other interesting things as well. So, it came in from Tanzil Loik or Loik Tanzik, suggesting that Manchester United have contacted Christopher Nkunku's entourage in recent days to discuss the possible terms of a transfer should they decide to pursue him. They have contacted and inquired about him. So listen, on Nkunku, he has been linked to United before when we were going for a striker, or even in the January window, he was linked to Manchester United. Now, Nkunku's a player was, before he went to Chelsea, he was flying. He was one of the best players in the Bundesliga, scoring goals left, right and centre. And ever since he's gone to Chelsea, that move just hasn't worked out for him, and he has been struggling to get minutes. Now, if you look at his age, Nkunku, obviously French international, predominantly a striker, but can play in multiple positions across the front three. He is 27 years of age, and his injuries are ridiculous. He's keen, obviously, to leave Chelsea. Red Devils make contact with United. They make contact with him. If you look at his injury record, it is pretty concerning. There's no doubt he's a talented player, but for what Manchester United need, is he a proven goal scorer? No. And is he someone who immediately improves his Manchester United team? Probably not. I just don't think he's any better than or clearer than Rasmus Højlund and Xerxes. He'd give it a different option. If you look at his injury since he's joined Chelsea in the 2 seasons he's been there, he's missed 54 games across 2 seasons. He's had knee injuries, fitness, hip injury, hamstring injuries, and knocks. So not the worst sort of injury concerns, but he has had injuries. I think, as I said, there's no doubt there's a player there in Nkunku. The concern would be, does he immediately improve this Manchester United team? It's definitely a player and a conversation to have, but as I said, that is the concern. As I said, at Chelsea, so he is Premier League proven, but I just don't think he would, as I said, massively improve this Manchester United team. I think if you look at what he's trying to do at the moment, I just don't think United's the correct atmosphere for him as well. But let's see what happens on that. As I said, he's a player who is talented, but not for me. Now, the next thing I want to talk about is Jadon Sancho. Now, listen, we know that Napoli, the sporting director, said they will not pay the Jadon Sancho wages. Now, it's coming in out from Turkish sources suggesting that Fenerbahce had made serious progress on a deal for Jadon Sancho. It is moving forward. So, on the Jadon Sancho stuff, we know his wage demands are pretty high, and I don't think any club in Europe, to be fair, or most of the clubs in Europe, are willing to pay the salary he's currently on, and he has to take a huge pay cut. And obviously, Sancho being the guy that he is, he doesn't really want to take a pay cut. Whereas you look at someone like Anthony, who's trying to go to sort out his career, he is willing to take a pay cut, and that's something that you have to look at. Each player is different. Sancho's, it's going to be very difficult to get him gone. I hope Manchester United can sell him, but we'll have to wait and see what happens. Turkey, Fenerbahce being interested. I think Mourinho is still their manager. But yeah, listen, I would want Sancho out of the club as quickly as possible. There's been links to Juventus, there's been links to Napoli, but as I said, the wages do look like a huge problem. It's looking like it's going to be very difficult to get Sancho out of the club going into the summer window. But listen, we'll have to wait and see what happens. Again, I do believe he does have 1 year left on his current contract. If I check, if we check Sancho's current contract, I know he's on around 350 grand a week, which again, not many clubs are going to pay that. Actually, I don't think any club is going to pay that for. If you look at where he has, he's not really been playing consistent minutes. If I look at Sancho, he's currently, obviously, we're paying him 150k a week. His contract does run out next season, so he has got a year left on his deal. You could see him just stay at United to get a free next summer, but he just wouldn't play and he'd just be sat on the bench. And then you look at going into next season, would any club want to buy a player who was just sat on the bench getting minutes here and there? I think the relationship's broken down. I think it's time for him to leave. And listen, United are still paying him 150k a week, even though obviously while he was at Chelsea. So listen, Sancho, I think it's time to get him gone. I'm just hopeful some club picks him up. Now, the last thing I want to talk about is the Garnacho and shirt sort of thing. Now, listen, there's been a lot of talk online about what's going on. I understand, you can see it. He's wore Rashford's shirt. Rashford's commented under the post saying, "My brother." Listen, there's been some reports from Samuel Lucker suggesting that there was some sort of kerfuffle, we'll say, between Rashford and Rashford and Garnacho. For me, listen, we've seen players before. We've seen players now. I understand it's a Premier League rival. But we've seen, listen, Harry Amas today was in a Real Madrid kit. Dorgu was in a Roma kit. Like, there are people wearing other teams' kits. Ahmad has been pictured as well, wearing a Brighton kit. Listen, for me, I don't know, it's a difficult situation because he's an interesting topic. I think a lot of it is based on the fact, listen, many fans want him to go, which is understandable. They don't really want to see him at United anymore. Again, Ugarte was wearing a Flamengo shirt as well. Oh, was it Flamengo? I think. Or was it Palme? I can't remember. But he was wearing I think it was Flamengo. But he was wearing a Brazilian team shirt anyway. I think the thing is, again, there's just a lot of uproar and frustration about Garnacho at the moment. I mean, you look at him at Manchester United, he's still got a couple of years on this contract, to be fair. He's on 50 grand a week. He's got a contract until 2028. It's going to be difficult to get him gone, but I think the thing with and what's also been reported in terms of their exits is United are hoping to get between 80 to 100 million on these sort of exits. I think that is definitely. Is it feasible for Rashford and Garnacho to go for 100 mil? Maybe. I think you can get maybe 50, 60 for Garnacho and 30, 40 for Rashford. So going on that sort of regions, it would be possible to get 100, but I just don't think anyone's going to pay 60 mil for Garnacho. I think 40 mil for Rashford makes sense. He's had a good loan at Villa, or an alright loan. He's a decent established Premier League player. I think clubs will be willing to pay that. It's a 60 mil for Garnacho that does worry me. But listen, let me know your thoughts. I'm going to leave it there. That has been the latest news.